Hey gang, it's time to start, and I see everybody looks like they're on board. I'm gonna call the roll. Irvin Brown.
Yep.
Don Eden.
Here.
Okay, Chris Locke.
Here, sir.
All right. Bobby Hogan.
Here.
And Caleb Fuquay.
Here.
Good deal. Good deal. I see Jeff Beamer's joined us. I'm gonna ask before we start. Need approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Got a motion by Bobby Hogan. Need a second by.
Second.
Got a second by Donnie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Before we start with Jeff Beamer, I want to apologize to Caleb. He says he did not get an email in my last meeting, and I really don't go over the emails. My secretary assistants, they keep up with my meetings, so I don't keep up, but I apologize to
That's
you.
fine. No worries.
I apologize to you, I do. Appreciate Chad getting this meeting all on Zoom for us. Everybody knows what this meeting's about. We had to come up with a COVID-19 plan for the state auditors, is that right?
Right.
Yeah, and Jeff Beamer has assisted us with that. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Beamer. We can't hear you.
Got to unmute it.
Hey, Jeff, hit your mute button. There you go. Got you
Can you hear me
now. Yeah.
All right, Mayor, thank you. I think Robertson County received the same notice that at least one other county I work with had about recommendations from CTAS for certain personnel policies to implement during the pandemic. I spoke with Libby McCroskey, who is, I think, the head of legal at CTAS, about what exactly they were looking for. It wasn't anything in particular. I mean, there weren't any specific language to be used, as long as the county had thought about and implemented how they were going to implement teleworking for positions that were amenable to teleworking, and how you would also expand your paid leave for COVID-19 related reasons. So what I came up with was some best practices for the county to follow for teleworking for positions that are amenable to working remotely, and also just some suggestions for how the county could provide paid leave to employees, which are similar to the paid sick leave provisions that was implemented at the federal level in the Federal Families First Coronavirus Relief Act. I also threw in a policy that Ms. McCroskey said it was not, it was an open question whether there also needed to be an FFCRA policy for the new federal benefit, the emergency paid sick leave, and the expanded FMLA. So I did that as well. And also a template for employees to fill out, a form for employees to fill out if they needed leave under the FFCRA. I believe you all have copies of those policies.
Yeah, so Jeff, is this going to be where we already have our, okay, is this going to be
Hold on, we're getting a little echo here.
this is my different computer, so
Well, it hasn't.
how do I turn it off?
Oh, you're not even connected. It'll stop.
Yeah, right behind.
Okay, go ahead, Jody.
So we already have our employee manual. So is this going to be something that we just count or vote on? The county commission votes it? We'll have to get Clyde to put a resolution with it and vote on it as a addendum.
That's a good question, Jody. I mean, the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act, the federal legislation, sunsets on December 31 of this year, unless it's extended. I think I put in language that did similar, that they would expire on their terms at the end of this calendar year. I don't know that it would be worth amending your current employee handbook to include those. I mean, if you did it online, you could do that. I just would hate for the county to incur any kind of expense to redo the handbook for policies that are going to expire on their terms at the end of the year. So it could be presented to employees as a supplement to existing policies, with the understanding that they run through the end of this calendar year.
Okay, good.
Okay. Hey, let the record show Cats is joining. And I see Tamika's on it. Now, I think I got a call too. Who, can you identify yourself?
This is Bill Moore.
Okay, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Yes, Jeff to mute. He's not talking.
Hey, Jeff, he's muted.
Now,
So we just need to put this in the handbook and it will be good till the end of the year, right?
The supplement.
It's a supplement.
Get caught
Right.
and make resolution as a supplement.
Okay.
Okay.
Has anybody got any questions? You had time to look over this.
Do we really be inclined to do a resolution on that?
Does our county commission legally need to pass this, Jeff? How did they say to do it at CTAS?
I don't know that they gave those instructions. Jody, I could look and see. But I think it's, okay, no, I'm looking at it now. The same process used for the original adoption of the policies under TCA 5-23-106.
Okay, so then we do, yes,
Yeah, we got
we
to.
will need to. Thanks. Good
Okay,
question.
hey, I got a question for you, Jeff. Yesterday, I had an employee that came into work and she had been with her stepmother that was out of state, come stay with her all week, and they was pretty close on the couch, hugging when they left. When she went back, she got a call yesterday morning while she was at work that her stepmom tested positive. Now, I think I went through it right by the COVID response, whatever it is. I shut that office down. There was 3 workers in there. I sent them to have a test done. Told them in 5 days when it come back negative, I was told by COVID that they could come back to work. But if one of them was positive, then they all 3 had to be out for 14 days, keep the office shut down, and they'd have to have another test before they come back. Do you conclude I did the right thing, that would stand up?
I do. That sounds like the way to do it. I know if testing's available, I would have everyone in the office tested and make sure that, well, if you're able to get a negative test from them, you can then, it sounds like you've already done that, have a shorter period of time to bring them back to work. But the conventional wisdom has been you self-quarantine them for 14 days.
Yeah. Okay. I was also told if the test came back this week on any of them that was positive, they keep a log who come in the building last week, that I would need to get a hold of all these people and tell them that I did have an employee that tested positive. Now, I can't make those people come in, go get a test, but they talk like I'm supposed to try to reach out to them. Is that a fact?
If you are able to,
If there's
that's a good question.
if there's a restaurant, there's no way you can find out who come in there last week.
Right.
We
I mean,
did-
how many people are you
keep
talking
log.
about?
Hey, whatever she said, I didn't ask her how many was on the log. It could be 25 or 30. Lawyers send people down there all the time to get information for court and stuff like that.
I mean, I suppose that there are some folks who are identifiable that you could reach out to and let them know, look, there's been someone in the office who has tested positive. You do not want to disclose the employee's name
Right.
that did test positive. So it would be, I'm not aware of what the legal obligation to do that kind of tracing would be. I mean, obviously it would be very helpful to all those involved to let them know if you are able to do that.
Yeah. Erwin, you're in business. You understand what I'm talking about. If somebody in your deployment tested positive, that you might want to reach back to their clients they had last week, would you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's legally binding that I have to, but I just think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I do too. Hey, luckily this was, bless her heart, the lady's upset and all that, but this was the first department we've had, and it's a department that you could shut down and a lot of people wouldn't really know it. It's not one of our major, because I've got some departments that I'd hate to send everybody home for 2 weeks and shut the whole thing down. But that's what we had to do. Somebody, let's face it, it's going to happen, I think. We're in this society, the way we all mix and do, it's going to happen. And it's just something, we'll cross that bridge when it get to it.
Hey, Jeff, this is Chris Locke. Just to clarify, if you have 3 people in an apartment to have it, they all 3 get tested. 1 comes back positive, the other 2 come back negative. The 2 negatives can come back to work before the 14-day period. Is that not correct?
I think so.
I think so. I think that the recommendations we were giving early on assumed that there wasn't availability of testing, but if you're able to get them tested and get a result back quickly and know that they have tested negative since there's been an exposure, yes, I think you can. I mean, the 14 days was, I think, the longest that someone could be asymptomatic and still be infected, so that after the 14 days, you know that they wouldn't have it. But yes, I think if there's testing available now and you know that the person has tested negative, then yes, I think that 14-day period can be shortened.
Chris, I think you're exactly.
Mayor, in that situation, if you've got the 2 that tested negative, they can come back to work. They don't have to do that 14 days.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. And just for everybody's knowledge, Building Grounds is going in the building and spraying it down this week. Okay.
I was just going to say, you really want to make sure you sanitize that office. So that's, you're one step ahead.
Okay. Bobby Hogan.
I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but the lady that we assume has the virus, do we need to have proof of that? Because right now we got 3 employees off. We're going to pay them for that time. We're going in and clean the whole place. It could be somebody, I'm just making a statement, that wanted to get their granddaughter off of work.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because we're fixing this. Do we need proof from the lady, since she's testified to the fact that she's gone through and has the virus? I don't want to be mean here.
No, she's going to get tested. We're hoping she tests negative.
But we're going to already have laid,
She'll probably, I say it's going to be shut down a week until the test comes back.
see? And so we're out of work with these ladies, gentlemen of our county, and we're going on assumptions here.
I'm going to explain what I know. I don't really feel like we're going on assumptions. She called me up first thing in the morning yesterday and was distraught and was in such detail of every little incident that took place, how that the lady, was so upset about it when they got there and left.
But Jody, there's acting schools everywhere. I don't want to be mean here.
I'm just going to tell you, I think we have to trust that
verify.
our employees are going to be up front with us.
Do we even can we legally ask to
That's
see
the
their
question
results?
I'm going to get to.
That's what I want to ask Jeff.
Or
Do
is that
we have the legal right to find out what her test results are, if they're negative or positive? There HIPAA involved?
Unmute, Jeff.
Unmute.
I'm muting myself. I just gave you a brilliant answer, Jody, and now lost forever. Okay, so going back to the issue of, do you have to verify that there actually was a positive test somewhere, and can someone be using this to get some time off when they shouldn't be entitled to it? So the standard under the federal emergency paid sick leave is that the employee has been advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine due to concerns related to COVID-19. So it doesn't really matter if there, if there is a false negative or someone has claimed that they have been infected when they're not. It's really what the healthcare provider has told the employee to do once the healthcare provider learns that there's been some exposure. So I think that's what you should focus on. If there has been the recommendation to self-quarantine by a healthcare provider, then that's what should happen.
She
And I'm
called
sorry,
that,
Jody.
she called the coronavirus hotline and had all the detail I was telling you about, Mr. Bob.
So she made the initial call. She
Yeah.
heard that information, but didn't have a test done or didn't see someone. Do you have to be physically at a person's so they can evaluate you? Or
She went
is it the
to she called the hotline. She told all the incidences, and then they told her that she needed to go down to our testing center at the co-op and get
so
tested.
they didn't really tell her that she needs to go take the test? And still, don't get me wrong.
No, they did.
They
they
did the
did.
test, okay.
Yeah, they told her because she explained the whole situation, what happened. That, like you said, the stepmom was there 5 days in their house. They were visiting from out of
I
state.
understand.
Yeah, she said she was sick when she left.
Yeah, she said that not a single symptom was showing, and then the very next morning when she woke up, she was gone. That next morning she woke up, I'll just say it. I'm supposed to say it. She's a nurse, the stepmom. And
The stepmother's a nurse.
yes, the lady that ended up testing positive felt a cough thing going up the next morning, and I hope I'm not telling too much information.
Well, as long as we don't say the names.
So my question is this the only one that we've had in the entire
Almost
to
2 months.
this point? Knock on wood.
We're thinking that's actually amazing.
So
Well,
as far as a healthcare
let me ask
provider,
a question, guys,
Go ahead.
if I could. All right, so I don't think we have the time to verify. I mean, it's nice to say, can people fool you? And Jeff may speak to this, but I don't think we have the time. If someone says that they've been exposed, you have to act on it out of prudence. It doesn't matter if you have proof. It doesn't matter if you don't have proof. And I think the only thing that we can do as a county committee is require them to be tested. At the end of the 4 or 5 days, whatever the cycle is to be tested, then we could, with HR, require them to bring in whether they're positive or negative before you bring them back. But I don't think you have the option in order to save time, even though, as the law says, as Jeff says, that yes, it's supposed to be a healthcare provider, you're supposed to get this documentation. I don't think you can take that risk. I think the only thing you can do is once they've been tested, you can get a copy of the positive or negative in order to bring them back. But I don't see whether they're a hypochondriac or not, or whatever their deal is, whether it's real or fake. I just don't think from a business standpoint you can take that risk. That's just me.
Hey, when this first started, I was getting calls from a lot of businesses, and so was the chamber, that there was employees going to take the test because they knew they'd get 5 days off. And the employees didn't have any say about it as long as they went and took the test. I think
Right.
that was happening. That's the reason one of the factories closed down, because they seen that everybody was fixing to try to get 5 days off. But some of your major factories just bit the bullet and gave them till the test come back.
Yep.
If it's worth getting that stick stuck up your nose, I don't know. But that's what was happening. But in this case, we got to err to the side of caution. And hey, hopefully, knock on wood, that it won't spread in other places. I know with the sheriff, he's worried about the jail and in places like that. And I don't understand, Jeff. You might know more about it. He opened up the restaurants. The governor did, but he still got the 10-person in the room rule. What's the deal with that?
Well, I think that's just a social distancing. Is that still in effect at the state level? And I know it is in Metro Nashville, but I didn't know. Sorry,
As
I got a
far as I've read it, it's still in effect in his proclamation or whatever now that I've read. And it's very confusing, but it's still in effect. Because really, I could scatter everybody out in this room and have a meeting, but when you can't do it with 10 people, I can't do it that way.
Understand.
Yeah. Anybody got any more questions for Mr. Beamer? Is everybody good? Okay. Hey, Jeff, appreciate the work you've done for us. Something that had to be done, and We'll vote on it next meeting, and I'm sure we're gonna be in compliance with the state auditor.
Ooh, yeah. we'll need to
Sounds
make-
great. Thank you all.
Yeah. Hey, I need a motion to accept Jeff's,
I'll make
recommendations. Got a motion by Caleb Fuquay, second by Bobby Hogan. I'm gonna call roll on this. I think we need a roll call vote. I'm gonna start with you, Irvin Brown.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Don Eden,
Yes.
Chris Locke,
Yes.
okay, Caleb Fuquay,
Yes.
and Bobby Hogan.
Yes.
Okay, it's 5, 4, and 0 against. Declare that passes. I'll accept the motion to adjourn this meeting then.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. We are adjourned. Thank you for
Thank you, everybody.
participating. You done a good job.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Chad.
And
You're
Chet,
welcome.
and Chet as well.
Yeah.
He's the man.